Hi, my dear students. Good evening. Welcome to the online video class session of Political Science, second semester. So, my dear students, we have been discussing about the first unit, which is titled as the Greek political thought and the sophists. So, in the part of that, we have to move to discuss about two important personalities. So, in our previous class, we have discussed about the Greek political thought and the sophists. So, in the Greek political thought, there are various important heroes who have contributed to develop the concept of polity in the Greek city-states. So they are like Plato and Aristotle, Socrates. These personalities are the most important personalities of Greek city-states who are contributed the, the idea of polity in the Greek city-states. So, my dear students, here in our previous class, we discussed about the Greek city-states, like the special features of Greek city-states and the importance of political thought and the special features of Greek city-states. So, these are the things we discussed. And at present, we need to discuss about one of the most important hero of the political philosophy of Greek. He is none other than the Plato. So here, Plato is the most important personality in the Greek city-states who have been who have contributed uh, the various theories, various issues to the concept of political science. And he was completely dedicated his entire life for the sake of the development of the political issues or political theories in the Greek city-states, particularly in Athens. So this is about Plato. So my dear students, I was prepared a PowerPoint presentation for your convenience. So let's get into the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So, my dear students, so this is about myself, the introductory slide. So here we are discussing about the second semester, which is titled as the Western Political Thought. So this is all prepared by myself, Dr. Maiti Ramlu, at the faculty in Department of Political Science, HTTWRDC, Karimnagar. So I have given here my mail ID and the contact number. If you have any queries, so please bring to my notice. Okay. So let's discuss about the Plato's ideal state. Okay. So my dear students, here let's go in details about the Plato. So here Plato was one of the most important personality of Greek city-states. So he was born in the year of 427 and he was died in the year of 347. It means he was contributed his political philosophy to the Greek city-states or to the Greece approximately 80 years. So he was lived 80 years. But in the 80 years, majority of his time has given for the sake of the state. So that is why he was considered as one of the most creative and influential thinker of Greek political philosophy. He was there are various kinds of various important personalities of Greek political philosophy, but among them, the Plato was the most creative and influential thinker in the Greek political philosophy, and that is why he was considered as the father of political philosophy. So, my dear students, here you should not get confused. The father of political science is Aristotle. Aristotle is the student of the Plato, and whereas the father of political philosophy is the Plato. The Plato is the student of Socrates. So this is the chain system. You should not get confused. And The Plato was elaborated various his own ideas uh, on the major problems of which confronted in the polity of those days of the Greek. So in those days, the various issues or the major problems were confronted in the faced by the or given solutions by the Plato, and he is considered as one of the wisest and true follower of the Socrates or the student of Socrates. Here, uh, in one word, we can say that the Socrates is the master of the Plato, and here the Plato is the best student of the Socrates. He was here. Plato was the first to formulate and define political ideas within a large framework of the political ideas of good. So the Plato was formulated and defined the various political ideas within a large framework of political idea of good. So this is his contribution to the political philosophy. So this is about the introduction about the Plato. So let us discuss about the Plato's life sketch, his personal life. So Plato was born in the Athens. So my dear students, I already said to you number of times that in the Greek city states, the Sparta and Athens were the most powerful city states of Greece. And the Athens is also one of the most powerful among the various city states. So Plato was born in the Athens. So the Athens is located where it is located in the Greece. So he was born in the year of 427 BC. So BC means before Christ. So before the birth of Christ is considered as the BC. And his father, the Plato's father was Aristotle and mother Perictine. So Plato's father and mother both are the philosophers. Both are philosophers. So it means the Plato was come from educated family. Is it right? So it explains that his father is his father uh, Perictine, his father Aristotle and his mother Perictine, both are philosophers. Means they are both are educated. So it means that the Plato was come from the elite family, educated family. And in those days, the education is availed only to the citizens in those days. So it means they are belongs to an elite family, and he was born in a wealthy and aristocrat family. So it meaning that the Plato's family is a wealthy family and is aristocratic family means the ruling class family. So their forefathers or their family is belongs to a ruling class, and his original name is Aristocles. The Plato's original name is Aristocles, not Plato. Plato is nicknamed, but he is called with the nickname as the Plato. So Plato means the broad shoulder in the Greek. So that is why he was called as the Plato. So because of his broad and strong shoulders. So in Telugu, generally we used to say Bahubali. So Plato was Bahubali. Definitely is Bahubali. Okay, and the Plato had two brothers like Glucon and Admetus, and he has one sister. The Her name is Platon. So it means he has three siblings, two brothers and one sister. So they are totally four members were born to their parents. And his father was died in his childhood. Unfortunately, Plato's father Aristotle was died in his early days, but he was multi-talented. So they were grown up with their grandparents, with their uncles, and uh, his mother Plato's mother got another marriage. That is different story. I don't want to go in detail about that personal story. But the basic needs, whatever we need, I am discussing only that thing. And here, the Plato's father was died in his early age. They were brought up, they were gone at the their grandma's house, and along with their uncles. And Plato was, since from the childhood, he was the multi-talented fellow, and he was expert in the various subjects like grammar. He was expert in grammar since from the beginning. He was expert in music, and he was expert in poetry, and he was expert in rhetoric. So these kind of subjects he was very familiar since from the beginning, since from his childhood, and he was the best disciple of Socrates. So I already said that the Plato was the best disciple or the best student of the Socrates. And Plato was written various books. So here is entire books in a dialogic method. So he was written a number of books. So out of them, some of the books are very important, which has contributed to the political philosophy. So is almost his writing style is a dialectical method or question and answer method. So it means in our childhood we generally used to listen stories in English like in a dialogic method. Rama speaks so and so, and Sita speaks so and so. Ravana speaks so and so. So like this, it is a dialogic method. It is a dialogic form. So the Plato's writings also in a dialogic method, or sometimes his writing is in a question and answer method. So that that writing style was especially applicable or especially introduced by Plato, and he was written various books like Apology. So Apology is explains about the conditions which lead to his death. Okay, the Apology, the book which is explains about the conditions which is leading to his death, and Crito is one of the book. It is also explains about those these conditions, and Symposium. Symposium also explains about the Socrates philosophical trial. So here the Symposium is explains about his master's the philosophical trial. Who is his master? The Plato's master is Socrates. So Symposium is explains about the Socrates philosophical trial. Okay, and the Republic. This is the most important book of Plato. The Republic. In this book, he explains about the ideal state. Okay, the ideal state, and is explained about the concept of education, and is explains about the theory of communism. So these are the issues were incorporated in the Republic, and it was written laws. The laws, the book laws explained in his book the laws. In that book, he was explained about the second best state. Actually, first he was imagined about the ideal state, and next he was given priority to the best state. And the statesman, here in the statesman, the book statesman exclusively explains about the importance of laws, how laws are implemented or enacted by the state, and how the laws are implemented by the state. So what is the importance of laws? So these are the things explained in the statesman. And lastly, it was written the Phaedo. Phaedo, it means it explains about the Socrates' last days. So how Socrates was blamed by the state as as a as a terrorist, or he was uh, he was punished by the state with the name of provoking the youth. So that is the rulers, the Athens rulers, the intentionally uh, intentionally punished by the state laws. So this book, the Pseudo, completely explains about the Socrates' last days, how he was spent his last days, and he was sentenced to death. But even though before going to death, he was spent very happy. Almost all his disciples, his students are like crying, and they are felt very sad. But he never felt sad. He is, even though he was before his death of 1 hour, he spent the happy time. He was learned music with one street boy. So that is different. Uh, when its situation comes, I'll explain about that situation. And Plato was proposed the concept identity. This is the most important concept you have to keep in mind. And in an examination point of view, this question definitely used to ask. So, for example, write about the Plato's ideal state. Then we have to write about the introduction about the Plato and the writings of Plato. Then in the third part of the answer, we have to highlight the Plato's ideal state. So Plato's ideal state is discuss various concepts. Here, first of all, we have to discuss about what is ideal state. Ideal state is the concept of ideal state is the Plato's imaginary state. Actually, it is not in practice. It is the imagination. The state should be like this. So, like it is the Plato's imagination. It is the it is a kind of illusion of the Plato or the hypothesis of the Plato. Here, in the Plato's ideal state, was proposed the philosopher King's rule and the theory of justice, equality of women, the functional specialization, censorship of literature, and education is under the control of state, as special soldiers, a social transformation or social stratification, the communism of property and the rights, and finally was proposed the slavery. So these are the things, these are the items, or these are the concepts which are highlighted by Plato in his ideal state. So let us discuss one by one in detailed manner, because this is the most important question. Many times in almost all the annual examinations, this question was asked by the examiners. And so let us discuss about the first point is the philosopher king rule. So here Plato believed in the rule of the intellectuals. So who are intellectuals here? According to the Plato, the philosophers are the intellectuals. So the state was and should ruled by the philosophers. So they are the intellectuals. By the rule of the intellectuals, the state can get each and everything. The state can get all round of development. The philosophers can take care of each and everything of the state and its citizens. So that is the Plato's intention. And the philosopher king stands for a symbol of virtue and knowledge, because the philosopher, to becoming a philosopher king is not a simple task. It is one of the most toughest tasks. If a person is one a philosopher king, he has to dedicate his life up to the age of 35 years. Then only he become the philosopher king. And not only up to the his age of 35 years, he has to pass the primary education. He has to pass the secondary education of the first phase, and then only after a severe training of the various subjects, then only become the philosopher king. So then only he can imbibe various the different kind of virtue or different kinds of knowledge in all subjects. So then only he become the philosopher king. That is why the Plato was proposed to the philosopher king's rule to the state, and his authority is based on the wisdom and goodness and intellectuality. So here the Plato's authority, Plato's philosopher king's authority is based on the wisdom and goodness and intellectuality. Because some ex-person want to become a philosopher king, it is not a simple task. He has to fulfill all the educational system of the Athens or the Plato education system. He has to pass the first 3 pages of the primary education, and he has to pass the secondary education of 2 pages. Then only he become the philosopher king. Then he can gain the enormous knowledge about the state and its administration. Then only he can rule the state in a systematic manner, in a perfect manner. So that is why Plato was strongly believed in the philosopher king's rule. He is the free from laws, but not free from the restraint. The philosopher king was free from the laws because some laws are not applicable to the philosopher king, but he is not from the restraint. So this is the most important. And the second concept of the Plato's ideal state is the theory of justice. So what is the theory of justice? First of all, what is justice? So according to the Plato, justice is considered in each man's performing his allot functions without fail. So it means justice is nothing but each and every person has to perform his duties, whatever the state is allotted to him. That is the justice. That is the perfect justice. So here the Plato justice is considered in each man or each individual has to be perform his allotted functions or duties without fail. Is justice. అంటే ఎవరు చేయాల్సిన పని వారు సక్రమంగా చేయడమే న్యాయము అని చెప్పాడు ప్లేటో. ఎవరైనా సరే, ఈవెన్ దో ద రూలర్స్, ఈవెన్ దో ద సోల్జర్స్, ఈవెన్ దో ద స్లేవ్స్, ఈవెన్ దో ద సిటిజన్స్, హూఎవర్ ఇట్ విల్ బి, ఎవరు చేయాల్సిన పని వారు వారు చేసే పని సక్రమంగా చేసినట్లయితే అదే న్యాయం, ధర్మం అని చెప్పారు. And the best state is created could only when there were good citizens, such as the state needed discipline and the educated people. So here, in the theory of justice, the Plato was proposed uh, the best state, the ideal state. So the ideal state is only possible by the good citizens or educated citizens. Then in a particular state, if the majority people are the educated people, if the majority people are good people, automatically that particular state is flourished in all kind of aspects, or in all round of developments. So that is he believed strongly. And the citizens automatically imbibe the concept of discipline, and they can become the good citizens by getting education. So it means the education is molds the individuals to become a good citizens. Okay, so the education is molds the individuals to become a good citizens. So that it is the education is using as a weapon to mold themselves as a good citizen in the state. And when the citizens are good and virtuous, laws are unnecessary. And when the citizens are bad, the laws are useless. So here, what is trying to say is that if the individuals are all educated, or all the individuals are good and virtue, then the laws are unnecessary to the state. Why? If all are good persons, so what is the necessity of laws? No need of laws. But when the citizens are bad, when the citizens are bad, the laws also useless. If they punish, if the bad citizens are punished by the laws, they cannot change it. Again, they used to do the bad things. So this is intention. And the another concept of the Plato's ideal state is the equality of women. So here he recognized and appealed for the equality of women in his ideal state. So Plato was given priority to the woman along with men, along with their counterparts. But even today, so think, my dear students, even today, the woman community is not giving priority, equal status along with men. If we go to the rural areas, we can get better understanding. మనం గ్రామీణ ప్రాంతాలకు వెళ్తే ఆడవాళ్ళకు కూలి 200 రూపాయలు, మగవాళ్ళ కూలి 400 రూపాయలు. ఆడవాళ్ళకు ఆడవాళ్ళు చేసే పనికి తక్కువ జీతం ఆర్ తక్కువ కూలి, మగవాళ్ళు చేసే పనికి ఎక్కువ జీతం ఎక్కువ కూలి. So this is what taking place in the uh, informal sector. But formal sector low same salaries. Here in the formal sector, according to the constitution, the men and women are treated equally. ఒక లేడీ టీచర్ కొంత జీతం వస్తుంది అండ్ మేల్ టీచర్ కొంత జీతం వస్తుంది in the formal sector, the government or recognized sector. But even today, the woman is subjugated or treated as uh, lower than the male. But the Plato was given more priority to the women community in those days. So it means the Plato's ideal state is approximately 400 2,400 years back. So 2,400 years back itself, the Plato was given more priority to the women and their education. So it was also supported to the women education in those days. And according to the Plato, the woman voice should be not silent because in the society, half of the percentage is belongs to the woman. So why should they silence? They has to raise their voice about their problems, about their feelings, about their ideas. They have equal right to express their ideas. So this is what taught by the Plato in his ideal state. And Plato was given equal place for them. It means women in education system like literature, music. So he was allowed to get education. But whereas in the India, before the Indian constitution or before Christ, in the BC or not only BC, up to the invasion of Britishers to the India. So before British rule in India, the woman is not allowed to get education in India. With the initiation of Savitribai Phule, with the initiation of uh, uh, the British reforms, the education is availed to the marginalized sections, and it means other than Brahmins and the women community in India. But before Savitribai Phule and before the uh, Britishers, the education is available to the only Brahmins in India. But in the Greek city-states, in particularly in the Athens, the Plato was given more importance to the women education, and they are treated as equal along with their counterparts, or I mean, along with their uh, family members, means males. And he worked for their emancipation in all aspects, like socially, economically, politically, and educationally. So Plato was proposed the equality of women, and not only he was proposed, he was also contributed, he was also emancipated in all aspects of woman emancipation. According to him, the woman has to be emancipated in all aspects. The woman has to be emancipated in socially, the woman has to be emancipated in economically, the woman has to be emancipated in politically, and the woman has to be emancipated in education. It means the woman has to be emancipated from all the clutches. అంటే ప్రతి నిర్బంధాల నుండి స్త్రీ అనేది బయటికి రావాలి. సో స్త్రీకి స్వేచ్ఛ ఇవ్వాలి. ఆ, స్త్రీ స్త్రీ స్వేచ్ఛను మనం స్వాగతించాలి. అన్ని రంగాల్లో స్త్రీ ముందుకు రావాలి అని ప్లేటో కోరుకున్నాడు ఆ రోజుల్లో. అండ్ he was also proposed the functional specialization. So here functional specialization అంటే ఏంటి? What is functional specialization? there is some of the people are allotted some works and some of the group are allotted some works. So like this, the functions, the roles and responsibilities or the duties are specialized. So Plato's ideal state is constructed based on the functional specialization. So according to him, the state has three classes. So like philosophers, the protectors, and the producers. So here the philosopher means the ruling class, the protector means the the um, the, the protector means the guardian class, and the here the producers means the working class. Here the philosopher means the ruling class, and the protector means the working class, not working class, the other than the philosophers. So they are citizens like, and here the protectors means the guardians or the soldiers. You can say simply the soldiers, and the producers. Producers means all the productive uh, members. So according to them, there are three classes people were there in the uh, Plato's ideal state. So he was allotted each and every function to the separate group. The philosophers have to be do administrative works, and the protectors have to be do defense or protection works. And whereas the third class, the producers maybe work for income generating work. So like this, each and every state has to be, particularly in the Athens, the people were categorized into three groups, such as rulers, such as the protectors or defense class, and the working class. So here there is the work is division. The work is divided among the various sections, and the most important issue is the censorship on the literature and music. Here, according to the Plato, the literature should be some restrictions. So there should be some restrictions on the literature like arts, the music, and the ideal, and in the ideal state. So it means the bad literature should not be come to the notice of the people. Only good literature has to be come to the notice of the people. అంటే ఇక్కడ సాహిత్యము అంటే శుద్ధమైన సాహిత్యం, అంటే మంచి సాహిత్యం, మంచి నీతికి సంబంధించినటువంటి సాహిత్యం మాత్రమే ప్రజలు చదవాలి. సో వల్గర్ అంటే చెడు సాహిత్యాన్ని ప్రజలు చదవకూడదు. సాహిత్యం పైన కొన్ని ఆంక్షలు విధించారు. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, అసభ్యకరమైనటువంటి లిటరేచర్, లేకపోతే ప్రొవోకింగ్, ఇతరులను రెచ్చగొట్టేటువంటి లిటరేచర్, అట్లాంటివి ఉండకుండా చూడడం జరిగింది. ద స్టేట్ హ్యాస్ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ మెయింటైన్ ద సెన్సార్షిప్ ఆన్ ద లిటరేచర్. సో ఇక్కడ రాజ్యానికి సర్వ హక్కులు ఉండేవి. అంటే ఏ రకమైనటువంటి సాహిత్యము ప్రజల్లోకి వెళ్ళాలి, ఏ రకమైనటువంటి సాహిత్యము ప్రజల్లోకి వెళ్ళకూడదు అని. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇప్పుడు రీసెంట్లీ మనకు విప్లవ సాహిత్యం ఉంది. సో విప్లవ సాహిత్యం ఏం చేస్తుంది? ప్రజలను రెచ్చగొడుతుంది. అలాంటి విప్లవ సాహిత్యాన్ని స్టేట్ బ్యాన్ చేసి అనుకుంటుంది. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు మనకు విప్లవ రచయితల సంఘం అధ్యక్షుడు ఎవరు? వరవరరావు ఉంటారు, మీకు తెలిసి ఉంటుంది వరవరరావు. సో ఆయనను ఎప్పుడు స్టేట్ అరెస్ట్ చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఈ మధ్య కూడా అరెస్ట్ చేసింది. ఎందుకు? ఆయన తన రచనల ద్వారా, తన సాహిత్యం ద్వారా ఒక విప్లవాన్ని తీసుకొస్తున్నాడు, తన మాటల ద్వారా రెచ్చగొడుతున్నాడు అని చెప్పేసి ఈ రకమైనటువంటి విప్లవ సాహిత్యాన్ని ఎట్లయితే మన స్టేట్ బ్యాన్ చేసిందో, సో ఆ రోజుల్లో గ్రీక్ సిటీ స్టేట్ లో the literature, there is a censorship on the literature. Censorship అంటే ఇక్కడ రెస్ట్రిక్షన్స్, హద్దులు, అంటే కండిషన్స్ పెట్టడం. అండ్ the corrupted and cheap literature should not avail to the people in the ideal state. ఇక్కడ అపరిశుభ్రమైనటువంటి, అంటే కరప్టెడ్ అండ్ చీప్ లిటరేచర్. అంటే కరప్టెడ్, అంటే ఇక్కడ మనం ఏ విధంగా చెప్పుకుంటామంటే కరప్ట్ అయిపోయిన అంటే చెడిపోయినటువంటి సాహిత్యము, లేదంటే చీప్‌గా వచ్చేటటువంటి సాహిత్యము ప్రజలకు అందకూడదు. సో దీనివల్ల ప్రజలు చెడిపోతారనేది ద ప్లేటో యొక్క ఉద్దేశం. అందుకని ద కాన్సెప్ట్ ఆఫ్ కరప్టెడ్ అండ్ చీప్ లిటరేచర్ షుడ్ నాట్ అవైల్ టు ద పీపుల్ ఇన్ ద ఐడియల్ స్టేజ్. అండ్ ద లిటరేచర్ విత్ హై మోరల్ వాల్యూస్ షుడ్ ఓన్లీ అవైల్ టు ద పీపుల్. ఏదైతే మంచిని పెంచుతుందో, అంటే నైతిక విలువలను పెంచుతుందో, మనిషి యొక్క వ్యక్తిగత వికాసానికి దోహదపడుతుందో అలాంటి సాహిత్యం మాత్రమే ప్రజల ముందుకు రావాలి. చెడు సాహిత్యము, చెడు రచనలు, చెడు ఆలోచనలు ప్రజల ముందుకు రాకూడదు అనేది ప్లేటో యొక్క సిద్ధాంతం. అండ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ అండర్ ద కంట్రోల్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్స్. సో ఆ రోజుల్లో ఎథెన్స్ లో కనుక చూసుకున్నట్లయితే, స్పార్టా కనుక చూసుకున్నట్లయితే ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ నాట్ అండర్ ద కంట్రోల్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్. బట్ ఎథెన్స్ లో చూసుకున్నట్లయితే ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ కంప్లీట్లీ అండర్ ద కంట్రోల్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్. అంటే ఇక్కడ విద్య అనేది రాజ్యం యొక్క నిర్బంధంలో ఉండాలి. సో రాజ్యమే దాని యొక్క బాగోగులు చూడాలి. యూనివర్సిటీలు స్థాపించాలి, అందరికీ విద్య అందించాలి, నిర్బంధ విద్య కొనసాగించాలి. ఇలాంటి అనేక రకాలైనటువంటి కార్యక్రమాలు అన్ని ప్రైవేట్ కంట్రోల్లో కాకుండా గవర్నమెంట్ కంట్రోల్, స్టేట్ కంట్రోల్లో ఉండాలి అనేది ప్లేటో యొక్క ఇంటెన్షన్. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు ద ప్లేటో, the state has the complete authority on the education system. There is no place to the private people to control the education. And the education is the only weapon to produce the philosopher kings or the rulers. Here, according to the Plato, the education is produces the philosopher king. The philosopher king is produced by only with the education, not by the hereditary, or not by the uh, elections, or not by the money or fame and name. The philosopher king is produced by only through the weapon of education. అంటే ఎవరైతే విద్య చదివి 35 సంవత్సరాల విద్య చదివి అత్యంత నాలెడ్జ్ సంపాదించి నిష్ణాతులు అవుతారో వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే ఫిలాసఫర్ కింగ్స్, తత్వవేత్తలు, తత్వవేత్త పాలకులుగా అయ్యేవాళ్ళు. అంటే ఫిలాసఫర్ కింగ్ అంటే తత్వవేత్త పాలకులు అని అర్థం. అంటే వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే రూల్ చేయడానికి ఎలిజిబుల్. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు అపారమైనటువంటి జ్ఞానాన్ని సంపాదించారు. అలాంటి అపారమైనటువంటి జ్ఞాన సంపన్నులు మాత్రమే రాజ్యాన్ని రూల్ చేయాలి అనేది ప్లేటో యొక్క సిద్ధాంతం. సో ఇక్కడ మనం ఈ విషయాన్ని ప్లేటోస్ థియరీ ఆఫ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. అండ్ education is the only weapon to produce the philosopher king or rulers. Plato strongly believed that the education can mold the people towards the wisdom. So this is most important. The education only can mold the people towards the wisdom. అంటే ఇక్కడ విద్య మాత్రమే మనిషిని మార్చగలదు, అంటే జ్ఞానం వైపు. సో జ్ఞానానికి మూలమేంద్ర బాబు అంటే ఎడ్యుకేషన్, అంతే ఎడ్యుకేషన్. సో ఎడ్యుకేషన్ యొక్క ఇంపార్టెన్స్ 2400 సంవత్సరాల క్రితం గ్రీకులు గుర్తించారు. సో అందులో ముఖ్యంగా ప్లేటో బాగా గుర్తించి తను అకాడమీ స్టార్ట్ చేశాడు. సో ప్లేటో స్ట్రాంగ్లీ బిలీవ్డ్ దట్ ద ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కెన్ ఓన్లీ మోల్డ్ the individuals towards the wisdom. And according to the Plato, 3 phases of education is available to the people, like primary education up to the years of 18 years, and upper primary years education up to the 20 years, and higher education means 20 years to 35 years. So here, those who are able to complete the 3 phases, primary phase, upper primary phase, and higher education phase, they are only eligible to become the philosopher kings. So that is why the state should be under the control of the education should be under the control of state. So it is a lengthy process. If an individual is want to become a philosopher king, he or she must and should sacrifice his or her life approximately 35 years, up to the age of 35, he has to be dedicated his entire life to the education, to get education. So then only he becomes the philosopher king. So that is why the education is under the control of state. And the Plato was proposed in his ideal state about the special soldiers. So according to the Plato, army is the most essential element of every state because without army, the state cannot survive. So the army is the most powerful. The army should be the most powerful. About the army, various philosophers are stated in their books, like uh, uh, in the ancient, uh, the Manu also stated about army in the Manusmriti. The Kautilya also stated about the army in the Ardhashastra, and the medieval political philosopher Ziauddin Barani also stated about uh, the army in his ideal state, in his ideal sultan. That is why army is the most essential element of the each and every state. The soldiers have to provide special training and special techniques to protect the state because they are the most important persons of that particular state. They can always try to protect the state from the others uh, from the other states. And here, the soldiers have to fulfill the roles and responsibilities of the state by acquiring special physical and mental tactics. The state has to be give training to the soldiers, and the soldiers have to fulfill the roles and responsibilities of the state, which is acquiring a special physical and mental tactics. So it means the soldiers, the special soldiers is needed to the state to protect from the others or other states. And he was also highlighted about the social stratification. The social stratification is explained by Plato in his book. According to him, Plato, the ideal state is consists of a three category of people. So, like the rulers are in the highest position. Their main function is the ruling, and whereas the second position is the soldiers. So, their duty is to protect the state. And finally, at the bottom of uh, the categorization or the least position is the working class. So they always set out the economic conditions of the state with their continuous and effort services to the state. So like this, the social stratification is designed by the Plato. Each and every group has allotted special functions or special roles and responsibilities. Here, the rulers are given highest position, and the second position is given to the soldiers, and the third position is given to the economic class or the labor class or working classes. So this is the social stratification of Plato in his ideal state. And each and every group has performed their functions in a perfect manner to run the state in a progressive manner. Here, the rulers has to be perform their functions in a perfect manner, and the second category, the soldiers also perform their functions in a perfect manner, and finally the working class also function their functions in a perfect manner. So this is all leads to the state, or it leads to the to keep the state in a progressive manner. And Plato was proposed to the theory of communism. So here, the main aim of the theory of communism is to deny the property and wives or family to the rulers. So according to the Plato's theory of communism, the rulers, the ruling class, the philosopher kings should not have any kind of the family relations. should not have any kind of property. So according to the Plato, the longing of a family or having a family and property make the rulers into the self-seeking and indulgent and greedy, and it makes them corrupt. So that is why the concept of communism was proposed by Plato. So here the communism the, the the communism of property or communism of rights is explains that the rulers doesn't have any kind of property, they doesn't have any kind of family. So the ruling class cannot focus on the state and its administration if they have the personal affairs with family and the property. So that is why the ruling class is denied the property and the rights. And the another concept in the Plato's ideal state, the slaverism. So here the concept of slaverism was proposed by Plato. So there is a significant place to the concept of slaverism in the Plato's ideal state. So according to the Plato, the ruling class have to enjoy by getting various kinds of services from the slaves, because the city states, the Greek city states, is categorized into three classes, like the citizens, the aliens, and the slaves. The slaves were burned to serve the people or to serve the citizens. So that kind of intention was there in the Greek city states. The entire lifetime, the slaves has to be served to the citizens, and sometimes they have also served to the aliens. But uh, the citizens have only whole and soul rights on the slaves. And according to the Plato, the slavery system is helps to strengthen the administration of that particular state. And the administration class may get some kind of relaxation from the various services of various services by the slaves. So here his, his intention is clearly stating that the ruling class is needed rest. The ruling class is needed services of the slaves. Then only they can perform their functions and their roles and responsibilities in an administrative point of view in a perfect manner. So that is his main intention. And the slaverism is strongly supported by the state. In those days, the slave the, the slaves is considered as the personal property of the citizens. So today, for example, we are considering the animal property like cows, bullocks as a property. We can sell our our living property. So like that, in those city states, the citizens used to sell the slaves. It means the slaves are treated as the movable property of the citizens. So this is about the slaverism of Plato, and Plato's theory of communism. So here, to the continuation of the theory of communism, the survival of uh, the survival or the needs of the philosopher king should be taken care by the state. Okay, uh, this is about the Plato's concept of ideal state. So, my dear students, here I am winding the session. So, almost it is finished about the Plato's concept of ideal state. Okay. So this is about the complete picture of the Plato's ideal state. So my dear students, here I am winding the session. So clearly there are approximately 10 points about the Plato's ideal state. So each and every point note down and read it once and listen the video carefully. This is the most important question. It is definitely going to be asked in the annual examination. So my dear students, once again I am requesting with you all, please don't ignore this question. So this is the most important question. So bye, take care.